Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back into Club Jaguar. It's been a minute, but it's so good to be back in this free agency frenzy. Oh, man, so much Jaguars news and nuggets and just new players to get into. I mean, I can't wait to have a whole hour of Chris Rodriguez talk. But of course, there's other stuff going on. But first, we'll go ahead and bring in Jordan DeLugo. What's up, Jordan?
Just enjoying all the skepticism, negativity, all the Brian Thomas Jr. trade talk that really shouldn't be going on, but it is what it is. Fired up to be hanging out with you and our buddy Jason for the next hour.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people in my comments section, they've got to be trolls saying, like, yeah, Balky would have done better than this. I'm like, guys, come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
Balky was an offseason champion.
I mean, we have Balky all over the roster right now, right? In the dead cap column of the spot track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think clearly, well, we can get Jason in here and we can
Yeah.
keep talking.
Let's get Jason in here. Jason,
No, I
what's
was
up,
ready
bro?
just to watch the show. I was good. Like y'all just keep going. I'm good. Like y'all
I'm
just
sorry,
keep going.
Jason. I completely forgot you were here.
No, it's fine. You guys are good at what you do. So just chum it up.
Well, it'd be cool to be backstage, right? I mean,
Yeah.
first-hand seat to this whole thing.
Just reading comments. It's fun. It's good.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's good, man. I mean, free agency here, obviously, not a lot goes on, but also a lot going on at the same time. Jaguars, we can first start off by, I guess, the first Jaguars free agent signing. The Jaguars signed Montaric Brown. I think it was like a 2-year. What was it? 2-year, 11 million, or was it 2-year? What was the deal?
Buster?
Yeah, Buster Brown.
3 years,
22,
31.8.
That's what it was. Yeah. I don't have my numbers in front of me, but yeah, I guess overall thoughts of the Buster Brown deal being, I guess at the season started today, the outside corner, but I'm sure they'll still continue to look for help in the draft. So what do you think, Jordan?
Jason's batting leadoff.
I was kind of hoping not to because I don't want to bring some bad energy in right off the
Let's
rip.
hear it,
Dude,
baby.
bring the bad energy.
I didn't love it. And I love Montaric Brown. I do. But I get that you're a nickel most of the time and you need 3 corners, but you just paid all that money to the third best corner on your team. Like when you break it down like that, additionally, what eats at me, and again, I'm not a pro scout, and I'm not trying to tell anyone like what's right or wrong, but to me, when I watched Montaric Brown and Jarian Jones play corner for us against the Bills, they weren't good enough. So it's just hard for me to get excited about paying all that money to a guy that I thought wasn't good enough. And I know it's more nuanced than that, but if you want my emotional take and my feelings, that's where I'm at.
What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, well, I disagree. You ready for
I figured
that?
that was coming.
Ooh,
Finally, we get some
disagree.
disagreements up in here.
Yeah, we're no longer in 13-4 mode.
That's right. Look, I think if you want to point to a weak link in the cornerback room against the Bills, it was clearly Greg Newsome. There's no question about that. I think Jarian Jones had a difficult time in that game. He's playing the slot though, and you're playing against Khalil Shakir. I mean, with Josh Allen throwing him the football, that's difficult assignment, no doubt about it. But Buster Brown had a good game, in my opinion. I think he had a damn good season overall. Thought he looked really comfortable in this zone defense, both as a cover player and as somebody coming downhill and laying the wood a lot, like on ball carriers, on pass catchers catching the ball in the flat. Coming off of his own assignment and just reading things perfectly and being able to lay people out. You got fans crying about it on the other side of the thing. And so I'm excited. I think $11 million per year, which is really under $11 million per year for a starting corner, for any corner. That's outside of the top 30 cornerback contracts, right? So I think there's levels to the whole contract game. Like, he is not getting paid as a top 30 corner in the NFL. Whereas had you paid Travis Etienne at $13 million, you're talking about paying a top 7 running back. Had you paid Devin Lloyd at $15 million, you're talking about paying a top 5 linebacker, right? So like, it's different levels to this stuff from a positional value standpoint. I think they got great value. I think he's a perfect fit for what they want. He had a hell of a year. And now that he's going to be a legitimate CB2 with Travis Hunter on the other side, Jordan Lewis and Jarian Jones at nickel, I think you're in a damn good spot.
Yeah, and I know going into it, I just saw it as like the Jaguars cornerback room going into free agency. When you're talking about the guys that, were gone, I mean, Greg Newsome, going, obviously Montaric Brown was a free agent, even like Christian Braswell. Like, I don't even know who your starting cornerback would have been, like, if we even had enough to roster a cornerback room. But I think
been Jarian outside.
Yeah, Jarian, that's true. I just
not great.
Yeah, I mean, I just think of Jarian and Jordan Lewis. I just think of them as interior cornerbacks, right? It's almost like two positions here, the interior and outside. Yeah.
Jarian should be a nickel for you in an ideal situation. But he does have the versatility to play outside in a pinch.
Yeah. So, you go into it in that way, and I don't know. I think there's a good chance that the Jaguars, I mean, with one of those picks, they got 4 picks on day 2. I mean, I think they're going to be attacking cornerback. I think that's something that they're going to highly covet, and hopefully.
Why do you think that?
Because, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think that Montaric Brown is good enough to run with some of these guys. Like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with. Obviously, I love Travis Hunter, but the season started today. Montaric Brown is your cornerback too, and I think he's good.
You don't think that's going to be the same way when the season starts?
I mean, maybe not day 1, but I think that they're going to draft to try to be able to have somebody maybe later on the season, kind of like a Caleb Bransaw at safety.
I think if you sign a corner to an $11 million contract, you're planning on him starting for the next couple years.
Ooh. I mean, here's what I would just maybe challenge you to think about. Like outside the top 30. Okay, well, what was he? Like 31, 32?
Yeah, right outside the top 30.
Okay, so
starting money.
In your head, is he the 32nd best corner in the league?
So that is a fair point. To me, in this system, yes, absolutely. He performed at that level.
I think we'd all agree that in zone, great guy. Like, yes. And like they're going to want to run zone 100%. Yeah. But like 3rd and short, 4th and short, you're not playing zone. You're playing man. And like when you need
true. That's not true. Do you watch them?
I mean,
they line up 3rd and short and they line up 5 yards off the ball.
And to their detriment.
And I agree.
I think 100%. They were just playing.
And in that scenario, I'm not nervous about him. I'm nervous about when a team is running deep concept on you. Like short yardage, man-to-man, he's fine. It's when you have to run 30, 40 yards down the field.
I'm not against him. I like him. I'm glad he's on the team. Like, I don't want this to get misconstrued as I'm disappointed with Montaric Brown being on the team. Just for me, with that money, I think you could have done something else. And I think you could have probably replaced a cornerback in the draft or found someone else at a marginal difference.
I'll say this. I don't think that this precludes you from drafting a corner. Like, you could still draft a corner on day 2 if you really like a guy, right? Their goal is to go into this and not feel pigeonholed in any way at any point in the draft. That's what they want. And to me, that means they go get the best players they see fit. So like at 56, if there's a corner that they think has a 1st round grade in their system, yeah, go for it. But you don't need a corner at any point in the draft, in my opinion. Because I also think Christian Braswell is somebody that they really like. They brought him back intentionally, and they developed him last year. I also think they signed Keith Taylor on Christmas Day off a practice squad, and they decided to bring him back too. They obviously like his game too. So like, there's a group here that I think you can get fired up about. And again, so much of that goes back to Buster Brown being a high quality CB2 in this system, and Travis Hunter being, I think he's already ready to be a top 10 corner.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that even if you do draft it, say you draft a cornerback with your 2nd round pick, I still think that you need a Montaric Brown because we had a lot of attrition at the cornerback spot last year. So you need, I think, several starting level players. And I feel like this regime, I mean, they want speed, right? And obviously, when you're playing zone, you don't need as much speed. But I don't know if I just don't know if I see Montaric Brown maybe in 2027 being your starting cornerback on opening day. I mean, I think
I
maybe in
think that you
2026.
have a different evaluation of Montaric Brown than the Jaguars do, because otherwise they would not be paying him to be a starting corner for at least the next 2 years, which is exactly what they're doing.
I mean, that's just my opinion. This is my opinion.
I mean, yeah. How dare we have a different opinion than the Jaguars?
I'm not saying that you should have the same opinion as them. I'm saying whether or not you think he's probably good enough to be the starter in 2027, his contract says he is going to be a starter in 2027.
Well, because I also think that the Jaguars, I think we got a little bit lucky this year when it comes to like avoiding some of these like really, really good receivers that really take the top off the defense. Like I think like Jackson Smith and Jigba, I mean, obviously he destroys everybody, but when you actually look around the league at some of these top wide receivers, I mean, you got toasted by Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, and we avoided a lot of that, especially down the stretch when we started winning. I just don't. I don't know. I do get.
Have you heard
worried
of
about,
Travis Hunter?
I have, yeah.
That's the plan for that.
So
that is the plan for that.
Do you think he's going to follow the best receivers?
I think certain weeks they'll absolutely do a lot of that.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, Jordan Lewis and Travis Hunter being on the roster makes me feel fine with it. And maybe we're splitting hairs here. Like I said, I'm not upset with the signing. I just probably wouldn't have done it, I guess is all I'm trying to say.
Interesting.
I think that's a fair way to think. I mean, if you feel that way, that's totally fine. Because I do think you can absolutely point to the fact that he is not a great athlete relative to the cornerback position. Right. He's not a great athlete, right? So that's fair.
And like
you're
pointed
definitely
out,
limiting yourself a little bit.
He's a dog. He's a dog in the physical game. Like when it's coming up the line of scrimmage, defeating blocks, beating the block with physicality, holding the edge of the line of scrimmage. Like great. Like my CB2 needs to be able to cover a fly route, and that's one thing I'm worried about.
And I'll say,
you should be, and I think their goal is to not allow that to happen very often in straight up one-on-one coverage.
And I'll say this to end it with Buster Brown. I think my favorite memory about him was when Tyson Campbell got injured and he was getting his first ever start for the Jaguars against the Saints on Thursday Night Football. Dude, they were targeting him, and he was like doing pretty well, like locking down Chris Olave. Like it was impressive. So I was like, I like this guy. So the Jaguars.
I do want to say one more thing about him.
Yeah.
In the playoff game, big playoff game against the Buffalo Bills this year, he was targeted 5 times in coverage. He allowed 23 total yards, 1 yard of yak. I mean, that's winning football.
Yeah. No, it's true.
If you're in zone, how do you know he's being targeted? Like that's who at PFF is like, oh, they're in cover 4. The opposite side receiver ran a deep corner.
It's if he's the closest. If the way they do it, I believe, is if he's the closest defender.
Well, in a zone, that's not always the case. And that's what he's good at.
I will tell you this. Based on rewatching that game multiple times, he did not get beat.
Okay. Can I leave you with one more nugget on Buster Brown?
Let's do it.
He was drafted after Gregory Jr. from Wachita Baptist.
Yeah, I remember that. 2 cornerbacks in round 7. Hey, if you can hit on half of your 7th round picks, I think you're doing pretty well. So,
Greg Brown was a 6th round pick.
Oh, was he? I thought they were a pair of 7th rounders.
Junior was 6. It was 6 and 7.
Oh, damn it.
Yep.
Okay. So Buster Brown on the Jaguars for the next few years. So yeah, we had to say goodbye to a couple guys. I feel like we're talking about every week on we're gonna extend, we're not gonna extend. So I mean, we kept having this discussion, between Jacoby Myers, Cole Van Lanen, Devin Lloyd, and Travis Etienne. It looks like Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne both walked. I don't really know how much the Jaguars are really trying to retain them. I think they knew they were going to price themselves out. But Jordan, I guess your overall thoughts of losing both of these guys.
I think it's unfortunate, but I don't think they're replaceable in this organization, football team, regime. Look, Devin Lloyd, I was always a Devin Lloyd apologist. I was the one sitting around defending Devin Lloyd, even though he was making some mistakes and all that stuff. And they literally simplified coverage so much for him that he could just play free. He was already good at blitzing, and he was already good against the run. They simplified coverage, and they got it done. when I think about Devin Lloyd and I think about this linebacker position, Foye Oluokun is not brought up nearly enough in this discussion. Like, they still have a great off-ball linebacker in Foye Oluokun. B, I think that Anthony Campanile, everything he has done with linebackers the last 3 years has been like unbelievable. Like, all the linebackers he's been working with have been having career years. There might be something to that. The Jags, I think, said, look, Devin Lloyd, very good player, was awesome for us in 2025. Can we replicate that or get close to that at a cheaper price point? I think that, and that's the bet they're making, and I think that they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't on the opposite. I was never a Devin Lloyd apologist. I actually was on the opposite spectrum of that. But no doubt what he showed last year was impressive. I think what I've always been saying is it came down to how do those coaches view the other guys in that room. And apparently they like Ventrell Miller. Apparently they like Jack Kaiser, some sort of variation of the two.
Interesting sorry to cut you off. Gladstone today said that Kaiser they view more as like the backup for Foye. And that makes sense based on his skill set, I think, a little bit more. Ventrell right now would be the one kind of taking over for Devin. And they were competing throughout training camp and even into week 1 for the starting job.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they got Gardick back, and in that 4-3 package, Gardick's out there too. I was okay with it. The Etienne, I was surprised to see that money come in for Etienne. I'm okay with how they backfilled the running back room, which I'm sure we'll get to here in a minute. But linebacker, I'm interested to see what they do. I mean, they got to get one in the draft because, I mean, they're pretty thin. I mean, even if they're top heavy in their opinion, they're thin. Because I don't think McLeod is. I mean, everything he did in college was like edge rusher, right? So
Yeah,
I mean,
he's an edge rusher,
he did
right?
have some off ball, but I would say, if anything, he is like a Dennis Gardick backup.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I still think they attack it somewhere in the draft, and yeah, I mean that's scary because I like Ventrell Miller. I'm a big Ventrell Miller guy. I mean, I liked him in college. I liked him every time he sees the field, but he has his limitations that we all know. And
he can field punts.
He can
definitely do that. He can
Shout out to
punch
Brady
the ball
Cook.
out. That's for sure.
Who was that quarterback?
Brady Cook,
Yeah.
the legend.
Oh man.
What do you think, Dalton?
Yeah, Devin Lloyd, I mean, it sucks to lose him, but dude, I was really worried about signing him just because I get scared of the 1-year wonder thing. Like for the longest time in his career, we were hoping to get more out of him, and then all of a sudden he explodes this year. Like, I don't know if he'll ever have a better season than he did in 2025, especially when he started off with just that ungodly amount of like interceptions. So, but ultimately we're kind of copycatting what the Rams are doing, right? And the Rams don't really pay off ball linebackers. And, we ultimately want to become the Rams where we don't do a lot in free agency, but when we do stuff in free agency, it's via a big trade because the guys that we want to get don't become available just off the street like that. So with Devin Lloyd, I'm fine with not paying him. And yeah, Etienne, $13 million a year. I mean, they were never going to pay that. And I mean, I feel good for both of those guys. And I especially feel good because, I was worried Devin Lloyd was going to go to like the Colts or the Titans. And I was worried that Etienne was going to go to like the Texans or even the Chiefs, but they both land in the NFC South, so we don't have to really sit there and, hate watch them. And we can really root them on while they're down there. But ultimately, James Gladstone kind of said it today, man. We're playing a comp pick game. And it's cool that, we're going to be able to accumulate some draft, position from that. But ultimately, I don't think they're going to pay the price for Devin Lloyd for the off-ball linebacker. I don't think they're going to pay $13 million a year for running back who, by the way, the Jaguars were trying to replace last year via the draft. So now it'll be interesting to see where this running back room shapes out. Is Bashal Tootin most certainly the RB1? I would think so, but we're going to have Chris Rodriguez probably biting on the heels there. But the only certainty I think we have at running back at this point is that LaQuint Allen will be the passing down back. So that's the outlook there.
Dog.
Oh
Absolutely
yeah, he'll be the demon.
Edge rushers, linebackers. Doesn't matter who you send at LaQuint Allen. He's bringing all the smoke.
Yeah, we need him mic'd up every game because it's
hell yeah.
the stuff that comes out of him. He's the kind of guy that you want to have defending your quarterback because he gets after it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you guys think the running back room shapes out? I mean, do you think that there's a competition RB1, or do you think it's pretty much Bashal Tutin's job to lose?
This the Chris Rodriguez transition?
Yeah, let's talk about Chris Rodriguez, okay? Jaguar signed Chris Rodriguez to what was it, a 2-year, $11 million deal? I should have these numbers in front of me.
Yeah.
2-year, 10.
It's
So
10 up to 12, based on performance.
So it's one of those deals where it's like, this isn't just a run-of-the-mill free agent deal. I mean, he's going to have a role on this team. And, him on the Washington Commanders, kind of a short yard back, powerful guy. He's going to break through your arm tackles. And I know, like, I put out a tweet, like, jokingly when he did it, because a bunch of Jaguar fans are kind of excited about him. I said, I'm not going to let Chris Rodriguez De'Ami Brown me, okay? Because, of course, when we got De'Ami Brown last year, everybody was, a bunch of Jaguar fans were excited about it. But I'll say this, that tweet went around Washington Commander Twitter, and a bunch of people were like, bro, like, Chris Rodriguez is way better than De'Ami Brown. Like, every time Rodriguez got an opportunity, he was great at it. And it was good to hear that from another fan base because, they watch all the games. Not only did they watch all the games, but, when we clip up, tape and watch that kind of stuff, sometimes you don't really know the situation. Like, It could be like a 3rd and 3 and, he gets 5 yards. Okay, cool. But we don't know that before that they were 0 for 7 on 3rd down, right? So, they don't understand the flow of the game. And, I mean, they all speak glowingly of him. So, it's good to have him here. Also played
You're
with
really good at getting yourself in those situations.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a troll.
Oh, yeah.
He's a little troll.
I'm kind of.
He's
I don't know.
Twitter troll.
I'm kind of a troll. I don't tweet. I don't like. I have the following of like a beat reporter, but I'm not serious on Twitter. So I just shoot from the hip, man.
So funny.
I will say before Jordan talks, I will say this. I watched like 4 or 5 games of the Commanders, the ones where he had the most attempts and yards, and I got through like 3 games. And I was like, let me just see, like, what's being said about him. And I watched Jordan's video about Rodriguez, and I was like, well, shit, this was everything I was going to say. So I'll let Jordan kick it off, and then I'll just add a little bit of my own touch to it. That's what I'll do.
And I'll troll both of you guys. All right, let's do it.
We're ready for it. So the one thing you have to know is that Liam Cohen coached him at Kentucky.
I was about to say that.
And loved him. Is that the best trolling you've got? I was about to say that.
No, you want to hear some trolling? Yes. When he was with Liam Cohen, 1,378 rushing yards, 6.1 yards per carry, 10 rushing touchdowns on the ground. By the way, 13 total touchdowns.
Boom. Drop the mic.
I like
mic
it.
drop.
I like it. Didn't he like beat up the Gators one year too?
Oh yeah.
I don't like remember exactly, but I remember like Rodriguez like doing like killing us one year, I think.
Yeah, so Ray Davis did too for Kentucky and for Vanderbilt, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to take a tour of the SEC and beat the crap out of the Gators everywhere I go. Chris Rodriguez, I actually really liked him coming out of the draft. It's fun to be able to look at some of these guys and think about how you evaluated them, and now they wind up in Jacksonville. But yeah, he brings an element to the Jaguars that they did not have last year, which is a tough in between the tackles runner that has good pace, as James Gladstone put it, to the line of scrimmage, and good vision. And as Liam Cohen said in an interview when he was still at Kentucky, he doesn't get tackled. Like, it is difficult to bring this man to the ground because of how physical of a runner he is. He's 224 pounds, and he is explosive in a short area. He's not going to win a foot race down the field, but in a 3 to 4 yard window, he's got the lateral quickness, the jump cut ability, and just explosiveness to do damage. And so I think you have now a back that you can look at as a short yardage guy, a back that you can look at as probably somebody who's going to be a little bit more efficient, just down to down, getting the 4, the 5, the 6 yards that's there. And I also think you have someone, just by the numbers, rush yards over expected, one of the top backs in the league, and yards after contact, one of the top backs in the league. So it's a compliment to what you have now, versus Etienne and Tutin being a little samey.
Dalton, you go ahead, because I'm just going to sprinkle a little seasoning on that, and then I want to ask a question to y'all about him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say, but I'll say this. Like, do you guys think that Liam Cohen drove this free agent signing here? Or like is he's
No,
like,
no
okay,
way.
like is like, James, I know you're not gonna sign anybody, but my buddy just lost his job up in Washington. Can you get my buddy in here?
And he was
No,
supposed to,
I think
they
he's got
should
good value.
they were supposed to like tender him, I think, and they decided not to. Which a lot of people were surprised about.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even
I
in
think
Washington.
just to add what Jordan said, violent runner doesn't get tackled for loss, which I love. Like the dude does not get tackled for loss. Like his feet are always turning. And you hear that about a lot of running backs, but like this guy is quintessential that. Like his feet do not stop. If you make contact with a defensive player, he's going to fall forward. All the things you hear all the time. He's got a nice little spin move in that short yardage, which is like, you don't think for like a power back to have it, but he's got a little spin move. He did one against the Dolphins on a screen play where he got the ball and did a little spin move outside of the tackles, which was cool to see. It's pretty few and far between, but he's got it. Another thing that I think is huge and I think is very undervalued and people don't talk about a lot is not only is he a power back downhill runner, he does it out of gun formation. A lot of times when you get these guys that do that, they have to line up in the eye. They have to get 3 to 4 steps before they get the ball. Momentum's got to be going downhill. This dude can create momentum and come downhill out of gun, which is pretty rare to see, like out of a player like that. So I really liked that. He was playing second fiddle for a little bit of the season, but then got for a little chunk of the season, got the starting job and did really well. So I really like him. I think the best thing about him to me is now all 3 running backs are just violent dogs. Like they are, like all 3 from Allen to Tootin to Rodriguez. These dudes are just stick your nose in it and let's go. And I really like that in a running back room. And I think that's what Liam Cohen likes. The question I'm going to throw at you guys, and this is just, you kind of bounces around in the back of my head. This year was the year he got the most attempts of his career. And I know I don't want to reference college. I don't think it's the same thing, but if you want to, you can. When he did get a lot of carries this year, we did kind of start to see some injuries creep in. And the type of running back that he is a more susceptible type of running back to get injuries when you're a violent runner. He had the shoulder injury against the Seahawks. He had the groin injury, missed the Giants game. He had some chunks of the season he didn't play in. He played in 12 games this year, and one of them he only had 1 carry. To add to that, he only had 7 games all season with over 7 carries. Does that concern you as a guy that we're looking to give more carries to?
I mean, to me, like, how many games is he going to be asked to carry the ball more than 7-10 times in a game with the Jags? This is not his backfield. This is very much, in my opinion, a running back by committee situation.
Yeah. And does he has an injury history, or was it more of just a last year thing?
Well, he never really played, so he couldn't really get injured. But the year
last year was his 3rd year, so
yeah.
And
I mean,
years,
sometimes players just have years where, I mean, like Trayvon Walker, for example, he's not an oft injured guy, but last year he was just dealing with some stuff. So hopefully he has an off season recover and, gets under the right sports training program that the Jaguars have, sports nutrition, all that. And, he's not injured at all this year. So I don't know if that really concerns me too much. Like, I think, we have roles here. Like, I think, Bashal Tootin will get your double-digit touches. Then, he'll be your change of pace guy, also short yardage guy. Then obviously LaQuint Allen in here on passing down. So, I think it's a pretty clear division of labor. Now I just wonder, like, do you guys think we're all set at running back? Like, do you think that the Jaguars make any high investment at running back, or do you think we're going to run it with these 3 and push?
I think it would have to be like a perfect player. Like, they love this guy in the draft and he just falls to them. And so they're like, we're going to take him. But even then, like, what is the path to a roster spot for a drafted running back?
Yeah, I don't see a situation where outside of an early camp injury where another guy cracks the top 3 just because they all fit the job really well. And really, another thing about Rodriguez I didn't add is, like, he's and Jordan talked about it on his video, and you could see it on film, is he's a decent pass protector, and specifically chipping those D ends because of his size and strength. There was times he would chip the D end, and you could visibly see the D end like take a blow and be like, oh my, like was not expecting that. So for a team, I think that wants to throw the ball a lot, having a guy like him that can just deal a rib shot to a D end, I think is really valuable.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, like, as we get through free agency, like what position group we can almost like check off, like running back room complete, right? I don't know if you can say that about many positions. I mean, I haven't dug too deep into like the safety spot right now, but I feel like, yeah, I mean, it almost feels like running back check, safety check in a way, and I think you got
question marks at quarterback.
Yeah,
quarterback. I mean, Kyler Murray. We can't run a 2-quarterback system anymore,
I'm waiting for it. The flag football offense. I'm waiting for it.
I mean, he's gone, so we can't be Chris Leak and Tim Tebow this year. But
too bad.
maybe that's an Orlando thing. When they come to Orlando, we'll deploy that system. But is Nick Mullins is still the backup right now, right? He's still he signed a 2-year deal. Yeah.
Yep.
So, interesting there. So I don't. I guess he's here to stay. I don't really mind. Just stay healthy, Trevor. Just stay healthy.
This is a regime that I think if they felt the need or the ability to, if there was a Trevor Lawrence injury, to pivot to someone who they think can maybe bring a different element than Mullins, they would probably do that. You saw the Vikings do that with Nick Mullins as their backup quarterback. They still went out and got other guys when they had injuries. So hopefully you don't have to go down that road, but I think that that's something they would certainly consider.
I mean, it just gets scary because like there's a trade deadline, right? And if it happens mid-November, an injury to Trevor, it's like, is there anybody really? I mean, is Phillip Rivers, does he have another year to come back?
I mean, if Trevor gets injured, we're done. Doesn't matter who you bring in. I think that's their mindset too.
Unless you have just, a really, really strong running game.
Yeah.
That's the only way
Yeah.
you can kind of keep afloat there.
Or unless you would have traded for Shedeur Sanders. Then we're cooking. But,
For who?
Shedeur Sanders. Remember, he was the key to fixing our team last year.
Yeah.
And then we figured it out, so it was fine.
All joking aside, I would like to see a better backup quarterback. Like
me too.
I
wouldn't mind if they draft somebody that they like.
Yeah, I thought about that the other day. I think I think they should.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind it either. I mean,
the Rams have done that. It didn't work out with Stetson Bennett, but they have done that.
The Rams also brought in Baker Mayfield for like the playoffs.
Well, that was because of injury.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
didn't he just come in and like play a game and like did he stay on the whole season? I don't even remember.
Yeah, no, he played multiple games for them down the stretch.
I just remember the Thursday night game where he came in after like one day and he just absolutely killed it. So
got on the plane, went straight to the field, played well.
Yeah,
I mean that stretch is what got him the job in Tampa.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff. So one thing we did learn, I don't know if we learned it, but like I think the most annoying narrative all week was like, oh, per Diner Orsini, per this person, Jaguars are actively trying to move Brian Thomas Jr. Then like Adam Schefter would be like, no, they're not. And then another guy would come out and be like, oh, the Giants and Jets are interested. And then like, and then finally, like James Gladstone said today, like, we're not really seeing that many calls. We haven't gotten an offer. We're not trading him. I mean, he's kind of pivotal to where we want to be on offense, especially when you look at the passing attack at the end of the year. And there were even reports out there that like, he dodged the question. I think I saw one tweet say it's like, so yeah, Brian Thomas Jr., Jacksonville Jaguar in 2026. What do you think, Jason?
Well, I mean, it's not official yet. The season hasn't started, but it is looking like it is. Listen, I've been kind of staying on the same soapbox the entire time. I'd trade him for a first-round pick. Besides that, I'm keeping him. That's where I stand. That's where I'm at. He is valuable, although his targets have gone down. And down the stretch when we were trying to win, we didn't use him as much. He has a lot of value, especially when you factor in his contract. So outside of a first-round pick, I want to keep him.
Yeah. What do you think, Jordan?
100%. Like, this is what James Gladstone said. We haven't received any trade offers for Brian Thomas Jr. There hasn't been a ton of dialogue around that from team checks, is simply because it seems like I know the word reputable came up earlier. I don't think there's been any reputable statement. We don't have any real action on any of those fronts. I think you think back to where we landed at the end of the season, where our passing attack was. We have no interest in disrupting the momentum. We look forward to continuing to build off where we left things and know that Brian Thomas is a big piece to that puzzle, and we don't want to make sure that gets disrupted at any time. They're very much in on what they have in the wide receiver room, and they should be, because at the very least, Brian Thomas Jr. opens up things for everyone else on this offense and for the running game.
Yeah. I mean, I can't.
At the very least.
I can't agree more, and I'm hoping that he can. I'm just hoping that whatever happened in 2025, he can help improve on it, and he can come out there and be his 2024 self. But even so, like even if he's just a guy who gets 3 to 4 targets, I mean, he still has a big role in the Jaguars, and like he had some really tough and clutch catches down the stretch. Because I mean, if you look at our wide receiver group, I mean, you know, Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers are awesome, and I probably trust them more in a lot of spots, but neither of them have the upside that a Brian Thomas Jr. has. And right now, I mean, it's just a versatile piece that you have there. So hopefully he figures it out. I'm not going to make any bets on whether or not he does, but as Jaguar fans, we all absolutely hope the best for him, because the better Brian Thomas Jr. is, the better our team is. And hell, like if he all of a sudden turns into his 2024 self, I mean, the sky, I mean, as we all know, the sky's the limit for this offense. We saw this offense hit some crazy, crazy highs, even without Brian Thomas Jr. playing at the best of his game.
I guess a question for that would be like obvious, because like I was going to ask you guys this, and then 321 Thatch put it in the chat. One of the big value points that Brian Thomas Jr. has is that number one corners were covering him even when he wasn't producing, because you can't let Brian Thomas Jr. beat you deep down the field for chunk yardage. If teams start moving their cornerback one off of Brian Thomas Jr. and put them on a Parker Washington or Jacoby Myers, do you feel confident that BTJ could produce against a CB2 if that were to happen?
I was just about to say, I absolutely think he would. I think he would start cooking.
Yeah, and one thing that you mentioned, Jason, with the best cornerback following him is that like when the Jaguars played the Broncos, Pat Surtain followed Brian Thomas Jr. Like I don't think Brian Thomas
Gardner was following him.
Like I don't think Brian Thomas Jr. had a catch that game, but you know who had a lot of catches? Our boy Parker Washington. Yeah. He went off.
And that's part of
the
value.
other thing. Like even if it's not BTJ going off, if he's going up against the CB2, you still have Parker Washington and Britton Strange. And I imagine, you know, we probably need to talk about what are their needs now. Like, what are they going to address in the draft? I think tight end is a clear circle that is a position I think they're going to target in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah. I think definitely tight end. I think you always need more offensive linemen. You always throw picks there. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen. I don't think you can ever really stop drafting those guys. And I think just more defense. I mean, linebacker, I think you need defensive tackle and defensive end. You know, even cornerback, I think you need to add to the group. Obviously, linebacker, I mean, I don't know how comfortable I feel with like a Ventrell Miller at this point. And even I think Ventrell Miller, I think that he's entering is very quietly entering a contract year, isn't he?
Yeah. So
he'll have
another contract year.
He'll have 7 interceptions this year.
I hope. Yeah. And he'll go to the Bucks.
I mean, speaking of the Bucks and tight ends, I was praying that Cade Otton would end up here. I mean, I thought that would have been a great fit, but
he got $10 million a year.
I mean, so what do you?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what do you guys think are some big draft needs now that the Jaguars made a huge, whopping one move at free agency?
Tight end, 3 tech, off-ball linebacker, edge. Those are the big ones for me. And always offensive line. Obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say offensive line's higher up for me just because
the thing about offensive line is where they're picking. Are they going to find someone who can elevate the ceiling? I think the floor throughout the offensive line group is extremely high in Jacksonville right now. The only high ceiling guy I see outside of maybe Wyatt Milam or Jonah Monheim, who we just haven't seen enough of to really know if there can be a ceiling there, is Anton Harrison.
Do you put any consideration to the fact that Macari was dealing with a back injury all year? Like, I know like people play through injuries, but like a back injury is tough for an offensive lineman. Do you see him like bouncing back at all?
I do, but even if he bounces back, then you're talking about like a fine starter, not a high ceiling player.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a perfect world, you draft a guy who blows your mind, and you can trade Walker Little. You can trade maybe Anton, if you find a tackle. I'm just thinking like that's how you would raise the ceiling in that situation.
Trade Anton. He's the
you,
ceiling guy that you currently have.
You asked how to raise the ceiling. That's how you raise the ceiling through the draft.
Not by trading the one player who actually has a high ceiling.
Well, the high ceiling guy is coming up on a big contract, so you got to factor that in as well.
Well, he's going into his 4th year. You have the 5th-year option to lock it down. I mean, you have 2 years.
You asked, how do you raise the ceiling through the draft? And I'm answering your question. You draft a guy that's amazing, and then you're like, oh, shit, we have a tackle that's like really, really good. Let's trade one of these guys. That's your answer.
But not Anton is my
not Anton. Sorry.
Strong.
You're not trading
belief.
Cole Van Lanen. I mean, you just signed him.
Well, I would much rather trade Cole Van Lanen. And one really interesting thing about Cole Van Lanen's contract, there is a team out after 2026. Even though he signed a 3-year deal, they could move on from that contract after 2026 just from a straight up cut standpoint. I think he could also be a valuable trade asset if you were able to find somebody that could elevate. But my issue is I just don't know at 56 or after that, are you finding a ceiling raiser? I think you'd find someone who can come in and be better than Chuma Edoga.
I think in every draft you can look around and say this guy was a 4th round pick. Yeah, that was a nice one. This guy was a 3rd round. You know what I mean? Like I think,
but
obviously
you got to get lucky there.
Yeah, you got to get lucky, and it takes some advanced scouting, and maybe somebody can really find something. But obviously, we don't have a 1st round pick. I mean, ideally, are there more than 10, 15, 20 real blue chip game changing guys like in every draft? Like it's usually you have several in the 1st round, and they obviously start dropping off a bunch like after that. And we're in a position where we got to really trust James Gladstone to do some good scouting, and he has done that in the past. But you got to get lucky.
Cole Van Lanen 2027, after the 2026 season, if they just cut him pre-June 1 normal cut, they save $7.85 million against the cap. And I'm not saying that's what their plan should be. I'm just saying they wrote that contract giving themselves a lot of flexibility.
And
if they were to cut him after 2027, they save $17.8 million against the cap.
And given Van Lanen's lack of film, for lack of a better word, that's probably the smart contract.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. And and that's the thing is I think James Gladstone might just try to avoid dead cap in these contracts as much as he possibly can, especially after this year. But also one thing we got to throw in this year is the fact that one reason why I don't think the Jaguars are spinning a lot is when you forecast next year, I mean, guys like Britton Strange is up for contract, Parker Washington, Trayvon Walker, Antonio Johnson,
Anton Harrison, you could.
Yeah, I mean, Anton Harrison, you could. Obviously, he has a 5th-year option this year, but at the same time, a lot of the guys don't, the 5th-year option, isn't that 100% against the cap? So, you would ideally.
Trayvon's this year is $15 million, which is why if you sign the guy before you pick up the 5th-year option and you sign him before that season actually happens and you cut that cap number down.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a franchise tag. Sometimes, teams franchise tag a guy just to give them more time to be able to. I mean, that's what Balky did.
But
just franchise tag guys. So let's do that in
bad.
July. Yeah.
Money wise, it's not nearly as bad as the franchise tag. So
yeah, no, that's true. But
that's a ton of guys that you got to sign, or at least think about it.
I prefer paying guys like Gabe Davis to catch the ball against us. That's what I prefer to do.
I mean, he could catch it against us again next year.
That's that's what I prefer. Let's have dead cap for players that are currently killing.
Hey, we're playing the AFC North next year. Hey, Tyson Campbell. You want some money to play against us?
There you go.
Doesn't Darnell Savage have a pretty high dead cap number too? That's yeah. See, this is as fun as it is when we're signing these guys from other teams, like Darnell Savage, we're really still paying him. That's crazy, man.
Well, Jordan was the one that liked that signing. So
did I?
Yeah.
Oh, you loved it.
Yeah, he loved it.
You want to pull up tweets?
Remember that?
The advanced metrics from. I loved this guy coming out of the draft. That was Jordan.
On Darnell Savage?
And then
I
did
a lot of work on this guy coming out of college. This guy I really liked.
You said, I wanted him to go to Florida. I liked him out of high school.
Check those receipts.
Yeah, we will. Jason will.
Yeah, I got him on it.
I think that was actually the one signing that year that I was like, really? They're signing a safety?
Jason, he'll forget you said that next week, so it's cool. Get to a couple super chats here. We have Big Jax fan in the building. I think he's a Big Jax fan. He says, "I wish we did a little more on the pass rush." Yeah,
100%.
yeah, and I think they're hoping that I wonder if they're banking on maybe trying to find somebody in the draft, and if they don't, they come up with what they did last year with Dewan Smoot and Emmanuel Ogbah. I mean, I hope that's not the route
That
because
worked well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hope that's not the route because pass rush was not good enough last year.
Yeah.
And when you point to, there's many reasons why we lost against the Bills, but if you want to point to any one reason, I mean that's up there when it comes to one of the biggest, reasons.
Not for me, but I understand.
Yeah, we don't have to get into all that, but shout out to Doug. He says, "How are we feeling about Tootin as running back? Also, was hoping for a Brisker or another safety. How do you guys feel about the room?" Duval Brisker. What is that?
Jaquan Brisker.
Oh, okay.
He signed with this.
Oh, okay. Brisker or running. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with the running back room. I mean, I'm someone I don't, unless you have like a Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley or one of these true game changing running backs, like I'm fine with letting them walk and going cheap there. But I guess, how do you guys feel?
I'm excited about the running back room.
Yeah, I agree. I'm fine with the running back room. I've been very vocal that I'm a defensive back guy. I mean, that's what I played. That's my first thing my eyes go to, the defensive backs. I don't love our safeties. Now, I know Eric Murray was injured, and we get to see, and when he played, he was good. So, if we're factoring in a healthy Eric Murray all year, we're probably fine. But I don't think that's very smart to do. Antonio Johnson definitely took a big step forward this year. We haven't seen Caleb Ransaw. So, it's not that I'm, not happy with the safeties. But if the safeties were the worst position group on our team next year, I could see that, I guess, is where I'm at.
Interesting.
I could also see them being a major plus.
And we just don't know what we're getting at. We don't know Caleb Ransaw yet,
Antonio Johnson he didn't just take a big step forward. He was legitimately excellent for the Jaguars last year, in my opinion. I mean, you lead the AFC in interceptions. You're a sound tackler. You can play all over the field. You did a lot for that football team. Then you talk about Caleb Ransaw. I liked what I saw before he got injured, but he missed the entire year. So, I mean, that's a big variable, clearly. Eric Murray, clearly a player the Jaguars feel comfortable with, and I liked most of what I saw from him on the field last year. And then you have Rayon Lane, who was forced into action as a rookie and actually did pretty damn well. So I like the room. I think the ceiling could be extremely high. The way you reach that ceiling is if Caleb Ransaw ends up being the player you drafted him to be in the 3rd round last year. Don't know if that's going to happen.
So how do you guys think that the Jaguars, I guess, finish up free agency? Obviously, we're only 3 days into legal tampering. Technically free agency signings just started yesterday, but I know me. I mean, I imagine at some point we start to get just an influx of small deals done, just to kind of fill out the depth of the team, and I think they're doing a good job of just kind of waiting around and seeing what's out there and kind of finding your best way to plug it. So I guess, Jason, how do you think the Jaguars will wrap this thing up?
I think they're just going to probably draft the guys they like, and then maybe add some minor additions, like you said, here and there. I think they're going to run the team back, minus Etienne and Lloyd. You had 13 wins. Those are 2 positions that are expendable, I think. I don't hate it. Obviously, every year you want to see your team get better in the offseason. And when you look at these really bad teams with high cap rooms, add a bunch of players, we get a little jealous. We get a little envious of what they're doing. But you have to remember, we won 13 games. Additionally, when you look at the teams that didn't add anyone in free agency, they were also teams that were Super Bowl contenders. So that's just kind of the way that it goes. We've been a team for so long that has made major moves in the offseason. And for this year, not doing it, I think is a good thing, because I think it means they like what they have. So hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us, but I think this team goes through Trevor Lawrence. This team goes through the offense. They're bringing pretty much everyone back on offense, minus Etienne. So I'm okay with it. I think they do little additions here and there, and I just trust, pray, and hope that they draft the right guys.
What do you think, Jordan?
I agree with most of that. I think there's going to be a trade at some point for a good player, for a, at the very least, rotational player, somebody who is getting on the field on one side of the ball or the other, whether that be before the draft or after the draft. The Jaguars have accumulated a lot of draft capital over the next couple of years. Even though they don't have a first round pick this year, they still have 4 picks on day 2 and 5 picks in between 56 and 124. I would not be surprised to see one of those picks moved for a player. I would not be surprised to see they now have earned themselves a 4th round compensatory pick for Devin Lloyd, a 5th round compensatory pick for Travis Etienne, a 6th round compensatory pick for Greg Newsome.
But have those officially been granted, or those not given it to us
no.
until okay, because you can't use that as trade bait right now. Yeah.
No, but if you know you have those in your back pocket, you can get aggressive with the picks you do have.
No, that's true.
Right? And it's not like a guessing game. Like, they know within that building what they're going to get.
Yeah.
So I strongly think a trade is very going to much be on the table, hopefully, in my mind, for somebody who can impact the quarterback on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. Like, I think I'm fine with not doing much movement in free agency because, I mean, we've had these seasons where we just spend a lot of money, and when you look at the free agency class like 3 years later, you might have one player left. I mean, it's not how you build a roster, and you're left with a bunch of old contracts that it just never really usually ends well. But I would have liked to see the Jaguars do something along the line of like bringing another pass rusher in here. It's a concern.
That can still happen.
Yeah, I mean, it could still happen. I just don't know. I don't know how it will happen, but it could still happen. I just get worried that the answer to an extra pass rusher is going to say we're going to address it in the draft because it's like you have no idea where it's going to fall, and we're a little far back. So I just don't know if like a 3rd round edge rusher is going to be the answer to being the extra spot on this team.
Yeah, there are a couple guys in free agency still that have legit connections to the current staff or front office. Calais Campbell isn't one of them, but I would love to see that. He is available. He's still playing at a level that would make him the best interior pass rusher on the Jaguars by a wide margin. But, who knows? But Daquan Jones, Buffalo Bills defensive tackle, good interior penetrator, B-gap player, big, strong, good run defender too. Matt Edwards coached him in 2024, current Jaguars defensive line coach. And then you also have Sebastian Joseph Day, who was drafted by the Rams back in 2018, who I think can also fill a similar role with a little bit more versatility to play on the edge. So there's a couple guys to look at for sure. And there's other guys that have connections on the edge as well with the front office / staff. So it could certainly still happen, but I do think you have to be mindful. I don't think they're going to bring in anyone that's going to impact that comp pick formula. So it's got to be on a fairly low ball deal or a trade, because the trade doesn't impact the comp pick formula at all, no matter what. So
Big Jackson says, where does Crosby to Big Jags fan? You kill me when you don't do this grammar right. Okay, I'm going to read as is. Where does Crosby to Jags our second and 3 of our thirds? All 3 of our thirds. Where does Crosby to Jet? It's the same thing. Okay. All right. Same thing back to back. So yeah, I mean, I think the Jaguars do work on it, figure it out, but when you don't have first and it takes just like multiple day 2 into day 3, and I don't know.
Like, where is that word coming from? You said the word is. Who says that?
What's the value?
It's probably Diane Orsini. She's turning into the new like Jaguars Jason La Canfora.
I'm a little weary of Crosby after like 3 team doctors were like, nah, dude, this dude's not good to go. Like that's I mean, I doubt the Ravens were just trying to screw the Raiders. They probably had good intel that it was not worth the picks, or they wouldn't have pulled out of a guy like of his caliber. So I don't know if I want to give up a bunch of picks for him either.
Was it a little sus though that they signed like Trey Henderson like the next morning?
100%.
I don't know. I think
so. I think they probably had a deal in place with Crosby, and they probably knew. I mean, these guys probably know what they're doing, and they probably knew that there was some injury potential concerns. And they got on the phone and they were like, "Hey, if this falls through, would you do this?" And they're probably like, "Yeah." And they're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, that's just.
It's just an interesting thing when you know he's coming off surgery, you trade for him, and then you're like, oh, he didn't pass his physical.
I mean, you got to know, like, there's probably like, I mean, I think like there's a certain level of like professionality amongst the NFL, and if it truly was something where it was like, you know, they were just doing it because they saw Trey Hendrickson open and maybe it wasn't as expensive as they thought it was going to be. It's just to me, and I'm not gonna. It's just a little sus to me. I'll say that it's just a little sus the way it all went down. But
yeah, Social Alki said it's possible that Strigo and Green will improve. Absolutely, would love to see them improve. Liked what I saw from them in their rookie years. Competition though, I want more competition with them.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
How about the Titans' new uniforms?
I saw them. They actually look kind of nice. It's still F the Titans, but they look nice.
I hate that. They look pretty good.
They look pretty good. I like the new logo. I like everything. It's no longer the flaming thumbtack, which is good. It's nice. It's nice. I'll say that. But I still hate them.
I'm very disappointed.
Yeah. Do you want them to be bad?
Yeah.
You know, is that the ultimate fumble this year by our regime? Is that we're going to run back to Microsoft Paints another year?
Yeah, are they just gonna like wait till the stadium opens in?
I mean, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like that at this point. I just, dude, I can't look at those white uniforms anymore.
No, let's do it when we go to Orlando. Let's do them then.
I mean, we could just rock Magic basketball, like, you know, do Magic football uniforms.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
maybe try a spotted helmet for a year. Jaguar spotted helmet,
two-tone helmet.
You know, we can't talk too much about uniforms, okay? Because Jason will go on his channel and talk shit about it. So, yeah, we can't.
Don't get uniform guy.
We'll get off the. Yeah, he went on his channel and just like berated us. Jordan just went off about how he doesn't care about uniforms. He could care less.
I don't care about uniforms at all.
I love uniforms.
Yeah, clearly, with that Bortles jersey hanging in the back.
Okay, first of all, that's disrespect. That is disrespect.
I wish that we had a
28. Is that Rodriguez? Who's it?
Yeah.
Well, I do wish that we had a just like a game or two where Blake Bortles could have been wearing the Prowler. That would be nice.
Honestly, I wish we could have seen Blake Bortles start another game for another franchise. You know, I mean, it would have just been cool to see Blake Bortles just out there bortling, you know.
Did he play for the Rams?
I mean, he played, but he never started. No, he never started though. He never got a single start. He came in on weird packages for the Rams. It was like weird.
Two-quarterback system.
I can distinctly visualize him in the Rams throwbacks.
Yeah,
we never got that for the Jags.
Yeah,
like the blue one with the yellow stripe, the yellow like
and he's
horn
bald.
Stripe.
Bald Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
But here's the big question: will we ever see Trevor Lawrence in a two-tone helmet?
I hope so. I pray every day.
Maybe like how we did the black ones that had the teal little flecks in them.
Yeah.
Didn't we do the white helmet?
That wasn't bad.
We did the white helmet.
Yeah, but Mac Jones is rocking it. I don't know. That white helmet was weird. I don't know. We should just do like NFL should do a week where you do throwback uniforms, but it's your most worst uniform, like your shittiest uniform. Like the Buccaneers can wear their alarm clock ones, and
we don't have Bortles in the Prowler, but we have Bortles in the orange mustard. So I think we're good.
Yeah, all is good over there. Art's a big Jags fan with one last one. With good English says, well, we can officially call the Titans the Tennessee Toddlers now. They look like crap. Toddlers now look like crap. I think they look nice, but you know what?
They look a lot better.
Big Jags fan is
Oilers. It's the Oilers jerseys. Just
big Jag.
It's similar for sure.
Big Jags fan is big on the AFC South roundtable, so you know he's all about talking smack about the AFC South. Which, by the way, AFC South, lots of action over there. I mean, Titans have been very busy. Texans shoring up that offensive line, and it sounds like the Colts have their quarterback. He may not have an Achilles, but he's got $50 million. What you got?
Colts got worse.
Yeah,
they got rid of Pittman, and they got rid of their starting right tackle.
I mean, could you argue that we got worse too?
Yeah, you could make that argument.
Jordan, they probably win the Super Bowl.
Oh man, I forgot they got Arden Key to the
Yeah,
city.
what are we doing here? Keys to
Oh,
Indianapolis.
That's it.
Oh, they did get Arden Key.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
but
just needs to hit Houston and he'll be good to go.
yeah, but Gus Bradley is in Tennessee now, so everything
He
is
needs to
even.
hit
The
Houston
whole AFC
too.
South getting better. Yeah,
We
I looked
need
it up.
Gus Bradley to be coaching Arden Key in Houston in 2 years.
According to Grok, Gus Bradley is the only coach to have been a head coach or a coordinator for 3 different teams in a division.
Hey, Carter
about
Bradley.
Right?
Wasn't Carter Bradley on our practice squad?
Yeah, he
Still
was.
is. Well, he's
Yeah.
still on a reserve / future
Yeah.
contract, so he's
It
still
was
with us.
crazy. He looks like Gus Bradley with hair. It's kind of funny.
Hey, guess what? I coached Carter Bradley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
good player. Good player.
I mean, that's a
They
great way to
like
end the
him a
show.
lot. I will
Yeah.
definitely say
He
that.
grew a lot his senior year. He got really tall his senior year.
Yeah, interesting. And it was his dad. His dad was coaching the Jags by then, right?
Yeah.
Or he was
Yep.
actively.
Mhm.
Nice. Well, there we go. Well, I guess that's the show, man. Good stuff, everybody. Jordan, I imagine you got a video popping up tomorrow morning. Tell us about it.
Mock draft Friday. We do that every Friday. Have some fun. Try to bring up some different ideas. Little preview. Tomorrow is going to be a different pick at 56, a different position.
Ooh.
A position we didn't even talk about tonight.
Ooh. Fullback. Fullback.
Fullback at 56. We're bringing it back. Bringing back 22 personnel. Let's go.
Wow.
But yeah, mock draft. And
Quarterback?
then I'm going to look at edge players that have, maybe a potential connection that are still free agents to the Jags.
All right. Well, Jason, you've been surprisingly active on the YouTube game.
Listen, you never know. It's like a Christmas day. You never know what you're going to open in the package. But we are back to Tuesdays every Tuesday, and then I try to do one more show toward the weekend. This weekend is the Players Championship. That's like my Super Bowl is being down there. So I'm going to attempt to do a show for Saturday night, and it will probably be spicy. That's all I'm going to say.
Are you going to be drinking refreshments this weekend?
I may have one or two. I have a deck tickets, which means I get unlimited free Michelob Ultra.
Oh, this happens to be my favorite beer.
Is it really?
It is my favorite beer.
I don't really care for it, but
That's
it's
really
free.
sad, man.
It's free.
Yeah, people. I mean, I've gone through my craft beer era of like, oh, let me try this orange toasty pretzel twist. You know what I mean? But now it's just, now I'm like, you know what? Just give me a nice ice cold, like in the cooler with like the melted ice. You just bring it out, and it's like, oh my god, it's.
If you're drinking a light beer, man, you got to be drinking like some Busch Light, some lattes, something
Okay,
like
Busch
that.
Light
bro.
is
Let's
criminally
go.
underrated.
It is.
Criminally underrated.
I mean, I'll say
You need
I'll-
to expand your horizons on the light beer front, Dalton. That's all I'm going to say. Now,
I mean, I'll
Jason, you're getting them for free? Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for
I mean, I'll say this. Lately, I've been getting more into the Casamigos, so we're exploring new
Oh,
territories.
Lordy.
Okay?
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Lordy.
Okay.
It makes me feel good because I don't feel like crap the next morning. I can drink a lot of it and just not feel not have a 3-day hangover. So
It's the purest alcohol there is.
Until you end up in jail, then you'll feel pretty crappy.
I haven't been there yet, but still got a lot of life to live, Jason. Well, all right, guys. Yeah, it's a great show. It's good having Club Jaguar back. It's been a kind of a slow off season, I guess, for Jaguars news, but there's nothing wrong with that. We're not hiring new coordinators, no new head coach. We don't have drama. You know what I mean? And I think all is good right now as Jaguar fans. So appreciate everyone for being here. If you guys can, drop a like. Also, hit the hype button. Apparently, YouTube has a hype button, so just hype
it up.
Whatever that does. I mean, it sounds cool. So yeah, hit the hype button, and appreciate all you guys for being here. Go Jags.
Go Jags.